5 to order. Item 2, additions or deletions to the agenda.
Just switch.
So one was that 11B should be 6/16/2025, not 20. 11A and 12A to visitors and concerns.
Second. I would move to move
Yeah.
11A. To visitors and concerned citizens and make the adjustment to the date on
11.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Minutes approval.
Go ahead.
I have one small typo on page 10. Not Andrew, but Deaver. Page 10,
On which one?
I think it's the first one, 616.
Under new business, second paragraph.
Great, 11A.
For the amended minutes.
I'll move to approve the minutes of the select board meetings of 6. With the said amendment to the set from 616.
Second.
All those in favor? 4, select board pay orders.
I move to approve the pay orders for payroll and accounts payable.
Item 5, announcements and correspondence.
So Lori Cross at 8:30 a.m. Just wanted everyone that
Sure it's not 9:30?
she said 8:30.
She did.
She did. Wanted everybody to be aware that there will be something going on at the pavilion and everyone's welcome to. The website committee was and send that back, so things are moving along. Exciting. A reminder that I am on vacation the week of July 14th, and a reminder that there is a special town hall. Please come. Correspondence included in the board's meeting packet is as follows. There's an email.
I sent you with that link, right?
I think so.
Individual. You sent it
I
as a
think so,
separate time.
Yeah. Notice of authorization altering activities from the Vermont Department of Environmental Conservation for the Reinhardt. I noticed that the Reinhardt Culvert project was ready for applicant review, which I did, so I submitted that to be obligated for real. So we're moving towards getting those funds. That's all I've got.
An email, I can't open it, but back on Monday, June 30th, regarding the triangle and the plants there, has looked at it and will so probably level the very high baptisia. That'll solve it for this year, and then we'll figure out what to replant next year. So we've taken it into consideration and we'll work on that.
Sounds good, thank you.
Great.
Alright. Moving on to item 6. Before we get to the other ones, anyone? No? Alright. 6A.
Alright, great. Thank you, Tim Jones, Green Mountain Power. Thank you, Eileen, for getting me on. in the field this morning and talking more specifics about before the board informally in April, just to talk about our zero outage initiative. Aggressively rebuilding much of our infrastructure, underperforming infrastructure in the southern part of the state. Londonderry is on one of those worst performing circuits, and so typically under state highway jurisdiction, but as I think I forecasted when I met with you the last time, that that meets the profile of undergrounding. It's a rural dirt back road. So how your circuit ends up on our list of underperforming or worst performing circuits is probably a test. It's a pretty challenging line of ours. The reason it meets the profile for, one, dirt road, and two, it's got a lot of cross-country route. The objective is to primarily bury the main line up the road under our premise of express and intercept, which means we're going to we have and intercept our customers along the way. So the goal is really get the main line on. That serves the most number of customers in the event the and then we start to fan out and look at sort of outlying folks as well. So once that main line is hardened, the sort of the protected, and in the event under the mountain road where you'd see outages, it would then be probably individual overhead lines running. The maps that we shared, pretty simple. Legend really is blue dotted line, if you're looking at it, depicts underground, and solid blue overhead would depict. Our expectation is that 95% of this line is built underground. We believe we've accounted for all the places where we're going to have to be overhead. That effect, and we have some tactics to bound that, see if we can solve it. And if not, you might see a couple of spots where we'd go up and over it just to clear it. And it's an important component of these town roads, and back road permits as well. So we talked through that today. I just saw Josh in the parking lot. It sounds like there were a couple other questions. After what we're depicting is with the draft agreement that we gave you is just to sort of outline how. And so we're listing all the culverts as they are today, but anything 24 inches or less, we propose to basically replace in kind. So if you have something that's undersized today, it needs to be an 18, we'll put the 18-inch culvert in there and repair it that way. So those are, welcome any other questions. The project, so it goes from Thompsonburg Road and we end right off the end there is basically all private customer connections going up the line there. So that's be the terminus. So it's about a 3-mile project with our getting our conductor in the ground, and then that machine will move off. It's kind of like a paving crew will come in, control that machine will move up the road, keeping the roads open, get our conductor in the ground, and once that's done, they'll move off to energizing the new line, retiring the old line, doing transfers of probably a few months start to finish to get this project done. And August at the latest this year and get it done in this construction.
Yeah, I think some navigating the agreement and that the town doesn't really specifically have type of work, but that it's covered in the agreement in a way that at or above what we would be comfortable with anyway. So I personally support the to the town overall and residents obviously, and, I think, one thing that I was gonna mention, that you started to wanna have anything done in addition to what mainline work would address. Private landowners can have their services updated or something completely separate from this mainline.
Correct, and I think we've had their service buried, and it's a future state thing. What we'll do is just put a cap near their house and at least make that, tie-in, facilitate the tie-in at a future state, and then those out of our Springfield office, and we would, landowners would work with one of GMP's designers. If somebody wants something, we'll kind of put a curb stop there, if you will, and
Right.
they'll be able to get
So
in there.
anyone knowing that just that information could make it easier
Yep.
going forward. I think that's good information.
And again, it's construction notification letters to everybody on the road, including probably the top of Crossroad as well. We typically like to give folks a couple of weeks notice, and then we'll have a look-ahead schedule that we can provide the town, so you can, what each contractor is gonna be doing when they're out there, just if, they're curious.
I think glad to hear that the road will majorly stay open, at least one lane, so I think that's probably.
Take a
Sure.
look at it. Just out of caution or
Absolutely.
anything.
That template evolution, we've been doing this for a couple of summers. The program's been official since agreements have taken on a little bit more specificity, so.
I'm sure it
Yeah.
won't be much for them to look at and improve it, but it's always good to have the attorney take a
Sure.
look.
What was the other project?
Plum Road in Townsend, and then we'll also be doing East Hill in Townsend, so 9th. So welcome anybody. You can just reach out to me. I can meet you out there, or we can look just
Yeah.
see the operation go. And if anybody's curious, we're actually working on Turkey Mountain Road right now in Jamaica. Our machine's parked right by the side of the road. Anyone else? Or else what other due diligence you need to do. Certainly, we're happy to share our project.
Is the 21st, and I'm sure we'll reach out with any questions if we have them.
Okay. I'll
And
plan to.
don't see a problem with us signing off on it.
Excellent. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Have a good night.
Yeah, you as well. Thanks.
1 second, let's get this going here. Can you, me, turn on the camera? I did just turn on the camera, I'm gonna turn it around. Say something.
Any more?
That might be it.
Great, so if I share my screen here, I think,
Okay, hold on.
sorry.
If any of you need us to
Pretty low volume.
Yeah, I don't think. Do you have a speaker in your office?
we're getting a speaker, so just a second, please. Sign some of these all over.
Is there an on there? Something?
Oh, can you hear us now?
Yes. Okay, good.
Perfect,
All right.
thank you.
Oh, you did give me permissions, perfect, okay. So I just want to make sure I'm going to share the right thing here. Let's try this. Here, and that's not the right version.
Oh, no, not 135.
Got it. Do you see the presentation now up on the screen?
Yep.
Okay, wonderful. Okay. Joining us this evening, we're here to discuss 2 V-Trans culvert repair below Route 100. So I know you have a lot on the agenda. We'll keep this the proposed scope of work and maintenance of traffic, the schedule, and then really open it up. So Mahendra kind of went through the introduction. I work for Gill Engineering, and I'm the project manager on our end, and Caitlin is the design lead with Gill Engineering. Just a little bit about this project. We talk about these 2 culvert, and it's located about 300 feet north of the intersection with Town Highway 49. Culvert intersection with Town Highway 55. So why is V-Trans replacing these culverts? Well, the current metal pipe culverts are under heavy rains, like the storms in 2023, and that leads to roadway damage. So the project's main purpose is the project will also include the reconstruction of the approach roadways, replacement side of culvert 228. In the photos on the right, we have culvert 225 on top and culvert 228 on the bottom. And you can see the...
To the crowd.
Oh, absolutely.
So
Would you like me to bring the locust back up?
I know where they are. I'm one of them, so.
That's right.
So 228 she's referring to is the one dip in it. And 225 is it's Londonderry, right after the curve. So that's the 2 locations that they're talking about.
The red.
Okay, go ahead, thank you.
Oh, okay, thanks. The existing culvert is a 48-inch metal pipe culvert with 14 feet of cover. As I roadway maintenance. There's actually damage to this culvert too, caused by a fallen tree, and of the road, which impose limitations on construction activities. 225 is very similar, but also different. It's a 48-inch, so it's shallower, about 6.5 feet of cover. The culvert is hydraulically undersized, so same hydraulic issue by septic system for one of the adjacent properties. The bedrock is variable and quite high. Actually working with Green Mountain Power to relocate that adjacent utility pole ahead of construction. Of work for both projects is similar. The proposed structures will be precast concrete box culverts. They will have a larger hydraulic opening to improve the ecological connectivity of this stream. Picture here, we're trying to kind of cut a section through with the roadway on top. Red is the new opening, so that's like the new concrete is shown in red. The existing pipe really improve things from both a hydraulic and an ecological perspective. A lot of excavation, removal of the existing pipe culvert, placement of precast pieces, and that'll be done using a crane and an excavator. There'll be backfill. Traffic impacts. In order to reverse the roadway must be closed. So on the screen here is this, is 17 miles long from Route 11 to Route 30. Now there are local bypass routes, thankfully, and I've shown 228, 5.7 miles, and then combined, if both culverts were closed at the same time, you're looking at a 6-mile detour. Construction is anticipated to occur next construction season in 2026 through November 15th. This project could go one of two ways. Construction of both culverts, and that duration would be about 60 to 70 days. We're still defining the exact duration, or 4 to 6 weeks. And that concludes our very brief overview of the project. So at this time, we'd like on, the two closure options, a single closure or two separate closures. Services, school bus routes, known events, any on when these closures could occur. Thank you.
So the only thing I'm thinking about is tractor. And we don't want them on Melody Hill necessarily either.
So that is why the signed detour route is that first one that we showed with.
Both at the same time be easier for truckers, or
Time frame.
be a shorter time frame?
Yes, it would be easier.
You think it'd be easier?
Yes.
That was a detour.
Speaking on behalf of the South Londonderry Fire Department, we discussed this, and so that I get the numbers back, but the one around the curve is only closed for a minimal amount of time, which is
Yeah, truck drivers will be easier, but emergency services is going to be easier to have two closures.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same for us if we have to go somewhere that way.
Yeah.
Or rescue squad.
And that's
separate from the fire company. The town just this past year, I believe, repaved Melody Hill and that thing for even 4 to 6 weeks, let alone for 10 weeks.
I'm looking at our road foreman right now, and he doesn't look very sure.
Not the extremely long.
Inevitably, it's going to cause wear and tear.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it's easily calculated.
Dump trucks and propane trucks, they can go around easier. It's more or less the Class A.
Well, I
The
think
log
that
truck.
them on state highways, so it should be more local traffic that uses that. So, getting
A potential
them
48 mile per day detour, a big ask. I think if you could cut that in half, it would be.
Probably beneficial one's going to be the 2
Like it to me.
for, as you said.
To maybe store some trucks at one location.
He does have the pit. He has a few
Yeah.
pits all over the place.
So, sounds like everybody's in good. We're talking about 2 closures then.
The preference is 2 closures. And just so, because I was trying to follow, but it was a little tricky to hear. This is due to truck traffic.
It's mostly due to emergency services would like 2 separate closures.
And,
Emergency
and local truck traffic is.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Is there
Are
anything?
there any other? When these 2 closures could occur, I'm thinking, you know, the time of year, whether it's a particular month, or, you know, is there a known event that would
Logging season, and then they also have their.
I mean, I don't think there's any months where you can really do it, where it's not gonna be a problem.
Yeah, it's gonna inconvenience either way.
The only thing, or the one guideline being the school would be a goal, but I don't know if it would even fit completely in that.
Yeah. Every year you do it, but maybe if we can get it done before school season, might be best.
Route.
Yeah, I would say
After
late,
and
I would say
before.
late
Yeah, so
spring,
between
summer.
like June, or,
25th.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
You mean after school season?
Basically,
Right, during the
school
summer break. 15th to August 25th or something.
That's pretty much, yeah, that's pretty much the break.
Roughly.
Okay.
The northern Route 100. Cause then the school bus is gonna have to
Northern
come
one
and
is
go.
228.
Okay, 228 then.
The 228. Okay.
When you guys are, no,
I'm just thinking the bus would come to that culvert, then it would have to go back over Middletown. And it would. So yeah.
I would agree with you on that, yeah.
Yep.
Did I write
Okay.
that down backwards?
I think they might have it on here around honestly.
28 is the northern one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they had it on there around, possibly on the map. But, so,
Yeah, the location wise, you're right, that's.
Yeah.
For the full vacation time, approximately from mid-June, is that correct?
To August 25th is what I wrote down.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
pretty close to.
Around then.
Right.
and I think
Okay.
the
The
southern part,
northernmost culvert would be the most affected in terms of. Yep.
the southern one, it won't be too effective to the bus routes.
Right. It's a much.
We will communicate that to the contractor. It will be part of the contract. We will tell them that do the construction during the school vacation time.
Sounds great, thank you.
And the other thing is, this one, the previous slide, yeah. The town is for some fund because the state's using. You will be entitled for some compensation for that. We will let you know how much that will be.
Sounds great. Any other questions you have for us?
Traffic or closure?
Can't think of any. No, not that we know of.
Okay,
Okay.
sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Rest of your meeting. Bye bye.
sure some people are happy to hear that culvert's gonna be replaced.
I was waiting for the day I drive up that hill.
I think that's makes the inconvenience worth it. It's the
In as least inconvenient way as possible.
right,
Least-
absolutely.
Yeah.
They're off.
Yeah. Alright, moving on to item 7. We-
Not in the packet.
No, not
Not
that.
in the packet.
Well, John Hurd, $31 an hour for the position, and Esther will stay on for 3 or 4 weeks or so to make sure he knows what's going to take over.
That's John. Oh, he's standing up.
Welcome.
Alright, anyone care to make that motion?
Well, and was it effective today
We said effect. You're gonna do it?
or 15th? Okay. 25. Recycling coordinator with a starting salary of $31 an hour, effective July 15th, 2025, subject to completion of a probationary period of 6 months.
Second.
All those in favor?
Going on with recycling, but this job is really more of a solid waste manager, because at the station, it's dealing with the state, it's doing outreach, it's writing a solid waste plan, all of those things, and that takes more than a recycling coordinator's role. So, solid waste, 3 words, right? Solid waste manager, right? Yeah.
Shouldn't be very hard to change, right?
Is the job
It's the job
description
description,
complete?
so-
To do, but for some reason Shane did not like the thing. But if you want to call it one thing, call it a solid waste manager.
Fair enough.
I think you're sort of changing the job description. So, I haven't had a chance.
We'll work through that.
To
And,
be safe, I think you should put
We
that on
can-
the next agenda.
yeah, we'll put it on the next agenda for that one. But we'll hire you for recycling coordinator today.
To make the hire and then just modify the
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
that's what
The
I-
title
yeah,
the
yeah.
next time we meet, so.
Yeah.
I'll put, for the recycling coordinator / solid waste manager.
All those in favor? Aye. Congratulations, Sean. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Esther, yeah.
Alright, moving on to item 8, town officials business. 8A, town administrator. A1 is discussed.
So legislature, did some changes last year that, were a little confusing and, tedious, and this year, just they clarify anything. So there were, a lot of these have to do with the fact that we have to record our meetings now. There's, hybrid requirement, it was unclear whether the hybrid requirement applied to all public bodies or just state public bodies. They had exemptions for site visits, which were problematic for the listers and for planning commissions and all sorts of other. This is the list of the things that they've changed. So the undue hardship, the term, a municipality must show that the entity lacks the staff or other necessary resources associated. The hybrid requirement, the law clarifies that the hybrid meeting requirement only applies to public bodies of state government, so not No more non-advisory, they're using the term public body and advisory. The public body is a body that makes decisions, so the select board is a public body, the listers is a public body, umbrella as well, DRB, BCA, BOA, that's the Board of Civil Authority, Board of Abatement. Am I missing any? Maybe, they don't have as much, I don't think so, Parks Board. Or rather, yeah, advisory.
Like housing, those are all advisory.
Yeah.
Housing Commission is in statute, but they don't have any, they don't have serve as a legislative
Yeah.
body. So, anyway, that's their new definition.
Much more clear.
There's an exemption for municipal public bodies are exempt from the hybrid meeting requirement. Or inspections. They are still a public meeting. And so are subject to some site visits. I don't know how you would accommodate certain
Recordings
requests or, yeah.
right, yeah.
Recording meetings. They can be in audio or video form, but they have to be posted at the same time that you post the draft minutes. Which is something I have to get with the planning commission and some of the other commissions, because I don't think they have been.
And to be clear, that's different than
It's something-
requirement.
yeah.
Planning Commission, I think, records them on Zoom.
Okay, I haven't gotten them as something to
Think,
post.
but I'm not sure.
For minutes. Municipalities may now post official meetings in a designated location in a different municipality. I don't think Londonderry needs to do. The executive sessions, this is a session 4 without giving away all the details. So the agenda is supposed to give a little bit more detail about why you're going into executive session. So, for example, in today's vote to come out of executive session, which, well, we always had to vote to go in, but now we have to vote to go, which I guess we have to record. I don't exactly understand how that would work, because
Weird one.
but it's in the law, so we'll try to follow it as best we can. And then it also clarified if somebody's impairing the meeting, disorderly conduct applies. So that is
The end of your TED Talk.
right. That's my end of my TED Talk.
Go look to you for any clarification.
Okay, well, I will try my best.
Working on policy, that was a little heftier, as you can see. Trying to make my time and not just mine, but anybody in the office, as we've been hit quite frequently. We've notoriously been getting hit email-wise, which is just so. But no one's sending me money after I emailed them with the documents, so I have probably 20, $5, $4, $3, $10 that just never get paid. So then clarifies that for, there's an application process, you pay ahead of time, you know what you're getting, I know what you're getting ahead of time. So I think it will hopefully save my time. Statute, what we're supposed to be getting financially for that. Went through, not just me, but in all the offices that get public records request, and just if it's not available, like I'm not gonna make the data appear or compile it, have to do this, somebody asks. This is too much time, I think. But yeah, successful,
also
and that's what we, our meeting statute, so that was in the packet. Or was that a separate agenda item? With that,
There's a charges line in there. 23.
The VLCT updated their, statute charge and, with the caveat that we can, municipality add a transmittal fee as well, so if we're sending a paper copy in an email format, we can charge for that. You guys have the authority to set that amount. So I know that was kind of discussed, but I wanted to have it separate than the, policy, because that we can edit that as need be, as read as the policy, so. I can bring that. The separate, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Put it on the agenda for the next meeting.
yeah, so that will be coming, but that,
Anyone can make a motion then.
Sure. I move to adopt the town manager's public records policy.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We all need to sign that. Alright, moving on to 8C. C1, discuss late filing.
Yes, the list is coming for the select board to ask the board to decide whether to waive or to impose up to 3% for late filed homesteads. So it's either waived. That is according to Title 32, Chapter 135, as 32 ESA 5410.
It's my recommendation that you do a 1% fee, because it takes, somebody files late, I have sent out tax bills and I have to do a revised time and
Yep.
cost of materials.
Sounds fair to me.
So,
In 2023, you had 3.
Interesting.
I haven't seen frequent offenders. I mean, it's individuals that for whatever reason file late.
I have no problem with the 1%.
We don't have this year's list.
Yeah, for a reason, you usually have a total now by the state, we could give an estimate, but. Homesteads this year, but
There is.
we have no way of knowing what the number would be as of today.
And I did check with another town just to see if they not, and we looked at one that did not have.
Yeah. Having that information.
That's why I gave you the older.
if you're gonna adopt that, I just wanted to amend the, suggested.
Beginning 2025 and going forward, or
Do it every
you have to adopt it?
Yeah.
you have to
Okay.
adopt it every year.
The motion makes it sound like it's simple.
yeah, 20.
Yeah.
Fiscal
Well,
year
no, it's
24.
not the 20, we're in
It's
fiscal
12.
year 20.
It's the 25 tax year.
That's your fiscal year.
Well, I'm happy to move it. Homestead filings for the 2025 tax year.
C2 is errors and omissions.
Mind if I crack this one? So I give you a memo, essentially it outlines the state that said, hey, this may change. I think it's addendum C. Anyway, from 108.9 to 143.3. And so the listers can no longer make that change, so we have to go through the process of errors and omission. So that's kind of what we're doing. We're just saying the state of Vermont, who develops evaluation, has changed it, and if you will. Right, True Mountain Power, who was here earlier, was another utility company that had the new valuation metric was not favorable to Londonderry or small communities, but that's just kind
It
of
was an increase, so that is nice.
are getting less value for their lines. Simplistically is that added market value to those communities. I haven't seen those numbers, but potentially increased in attached to each pole means those lines typically have less value. I think that's the way he gave his explanation as to why we would see valuation changes.
Green Mountain Power did go down from 8 to 5.
Maybe.
Amen.
I'll defer to Sandra on that.
That's the numbers I remember.
It's the state's numbers, so we might as well just approve it.
Accept the errors and omissions certificate in the amount of $34,400 for Vermont State for the 2025 grand list.
Second.
All those.
I think you might want to amend the motion. I think it's just a valuation change to 143.3 in the grant. I'm just, because I have to change it in the
You have to
grant
change
list.
the amount. Oh, yeah, okay.
Sorry about that. I
That's
should have
okay.
read that motion prior to.
I was going back and forth on what.
We are going to amend that motion.
Certificate from 108,900 to for the Vermont Transco LLC span number 357-110-232 25 grand list.
Now, I believe you have a copy of the, that you're going to have to fill out and.
Sorry. Yeah, thanks for the sample.
Right here.
Got it.
Do we have a second and then a vote?
Total amount, which is 143,300.
Right.
Did you actually vote on it?
Yeah, do we have a second
Yes.
and a vote?
I did read.
Aye.
Aye. For this one.
Record, let's go backwards.
Essentially, I just read it with
It's no.
this
Yeah.
number in
Okay.
the third line of the letter, the memorandum.
And moving on to C3, review and approve.
Is this a pretty typical engagement program? Fiscal year 2024-25.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I got them scheduled already.
Good.
That's right.
You all have copies of it, I think. Comparison as well. So our municipal rate went up to 0.6517, which is up 6.0604. And the good news is that the municipal, the cents, almost 8 cents. But the non-homestead rate went up 13 cents. So that puts us at a total of for non-homestead 2.6187 and homestead 2.30.
That's great news considering all the money we've spent.
That was thanks to what the our CLA was at 65 and we divided it by the state average.
Sounds good. Anybody have any questions about that?
So coming soon to a mailbox near you.
Moving on to item.
To adopt the municipal tax rate of 0.6517 for the 2020.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Before we get to the next one, when you leave, just for minutes. Thank you. Updates.
So I wanted to let you know that I had visited all of the burning, and it turns out that Peru has never brought their stuff to the transfer station. They have a site that they use. Weston thinks they have a site that they can use. Landgren has some concern and they need to think about it. I also talked give the town road crews a discount, but he language yet, and or the amount yet. And also I asked him, he's the road. So I don't know if you're familiar, you turn around the compactor and there's a steep. It was too steep for ordinary traffic, so and down. I asked Hunter when he comes to take that leaf and yard pile to use whatever materials are there and to make that road less steep so we can actually close that other road off, which we won't need anymore. Not the transfer station, but Londonderry is still an we have the right to burn there. Same area where that leads to that other road would be open, and he had to burn just the Londonderry Road crew stuff. So that's an option, and I think what they're, because the space wasn't big enough, it had to constantly be burned to lessen the bulk. This other area, if you choose to do that. And I think experimenting with doing it, how the smoke travels, or when it travels, or where to do it in. And
it seemed like we would have good ready, honestly, but
about where it travels.
Yeah, but like you're saying, the amount and the less pressure to burn it daily, maybe you could do it more responsibly.
Because we were taking. Plus, we had landscapers come in and tree people come in, so it was a lot of material. If this were only Londonderry Road, you're trying to set up another site somewhere else and wind up having to deal with maybe.
More about that.
Yeah. Is that the evil eye?
No,
That's a happy face.
he likes the idea.
That's a happy face.
Duration, if the burning goes away completely, would that allow access to the leaf connect around that side?
Would what?
Josh is shaking his head no.
You're saying to enter where the brush pile used to be?
You can't drive down lower.
No, there's a drainage ditch around there, and now we actually
to the, yeah, so there's, it's cut off, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, and that space might be maybe like brick and block fill, or, I mean, as things fill up,
Yeah.
being able to use that, the land becomes more.
Containers down there, but people were not real on the up and up space for it, because you can
Yeah,
keep an eye
you
on
can
it, so
see
I
it.
don't,
Yeah.
I think what to do down there,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But it'll be a spot for something.
Just so you remember, we're on record on June 16th saying that we were no longer going to be burning there.
Right, so that would have to be
Amended.
You'd have to
rescinded.
rescind.
Try to find a way to stick to that, and then if we can't or don't, it doesn't work out, then we
Or the other option too is moving to the Prouty property, lower field, if it works out.
Like pine branches and
Yeah.
overstocking, like you were saying with the contractors and inlands, and they all went directly on the fire.
Mhm.
So I mean, I think a big would be watching the fire
But I think then
Yeah.
the way we were doing
and I
it.
mean, keeping an eye, like you said, down there in the hole, Steve's thing up. Out of that,
Yep. You know, I'll connect with you more on that. What you got, Esther?
Other than the email I sent to you, do you want me to talk about that? So both, Wind Peru, I think, it was the other town was Peru, came up with the question of, the comment that, no, we've been giving you this free service for all this time. And their argument is, well, our share takes care of labor that it took to burn that stuff, and that labor won't be used for that anymore. So I think we were going around in circles, and
The main thing I wanted to clarify too, speaking from my own perspective and not necessarily the entire board, but I mean, I just feel like everything is, the cost of everything for everybody anyway, it would just come around and be in a different increase somewhere, because it feels like we're always operating at a.
You can tell them it will increase the
Loss.
lifespan of the loader. Because it won't be next to a fire, it won't have a chance to catch on fire, and won't be used as much. Run sooner.
and the attendants could be doing they say they don't have time for.
Yep.
Wash.
Yeah, I was facing these people and they was,
Well, and I don't know, that seem more fair than.
Well, if Peru's never been using it, do they want to?
Yeah, I think it's
It was
Yeah,
free, so.
It's not a thing.
Did I miss something, Tom, on this?
No, we moved to approve that.
I'm sorry, I did.
Okay.
I did.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was just.
No problem. Moving on.
I guess the truck that's broke is still broke and we weren't on this.
No, it's not
Josh,
brand new, but it's too new to have problems, but it's not.
Yeah, the warranty ran out in November and we had problems in December. The excavator had a few leaks, that's been repaired. The grader had malfunctions with the, I guess my only thought is with this new fuel tank, I think we should put fuel out to bid. I'm gonna assume. 'Cause we're gonna have to do like monthly fill-ups, I'm not
Okay.
sure exactly.
get on
But
the
the
delivery
tank
schedule.
is still, well, he didn't really, sounds like we wanna remove, fill the hole in, then set the new one. So we're gonna have to figure out a way to get fuel for
Sure.
500-gallon storage tank or something, but we'd still have to get that filled, just for a temporary, I assume it's something you mentioned, but we're gonna have to think about that here.
A temporary fuel tank
While we're
Fuel
under
up.
construction.
bid. You wanna put out a fuel bid for a temporary
Well, it's,
tank? We could talk
Fuel out.
we're just
anyway,
buying,
right?
right, I mean, some way, shape or form, we gotta write something up.
Yeah,
I was kind of thinking that, I mean, do the contract before winter
then we
maybe,
could,
but
yeah,
I think ultimately that's where we would need to end up. Contract, like
Well,
a,
yeah, I mean, we're doing probably monthly fill-ups in the wintertime anyways, whereas, you know, I do twice a year right now.
Yes.
and that's for diesel, right?
But
pretty much all your work.
well, there's been a time they brought dyed fuel, but we really shouldn't be running dyed fuel in the trucks over the road, so they don't dye it anymore, I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
one
Well,
is
one's
taxed and one
taxed
is
and one
not.
isn't.
It's- The fuel is identical, it's just how much you pay for it.
So, yeah, well,
So, I mean, other than that, I guess, I mean, the help. Working on showing them equipment and how to use things and all that.
test results to come in, right?
Yeah, we've not doing test results.
Which should have been here already, but aren't.
We've been, you know, going through equipment, showing things, and he's changed some oil in a few pieces of equipment, so, and there's stuff getting done. Guardrails, I'm thinking of the edge that I'm thinking, those are the two, you know, guardrails. And edge hill where those cement blocks are, I measured out 72 feet, I think, 75, something like that. So this is a meet and greet and see where we can go from there. So,
Alright, thank you. 46, yeah.
Yeah, so we got 5, sand on there.
I think. Agree?
Yeah.
Much? No.
just curious to see, but, I mean, the wear and tear and the use on our trucks trying to.
And there was like a close by gravel pit, but
Yeah, you gotta spend half the summer.
I think in particular with Hunter, we kind of figured out that his sand was coming from Claire. Dump it there and then we go get it. He might as well just drive the extra 2 miles and dump it where he goes.
Yep,
It is exactly.
it also
Yeah.
looked,
yeah, for
Yeah,
delivered
for
or for
delivered
non.
and for not delivered.
Year versus
Oh, comparatively, no.
that today and didn't, but. Sand and piece of low
Yeah.
pro, so.
I feel like it's not far off from last year, but that's just thinking off the top of my
Did
head.
Hunter get the bid last year?
Where's that?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it was Hunter last year.
Or was
It
Adams,
was
right?
Buck Adams the year before, and then I think Hunter, or it was before that.
Seems like we were talking about it earlier today. A lot of things are at or just below.
Same price.
Same price.
That was the case.
Was it the same amount? We were actually at.
I thought I did 3,500 yards last year.
Amount for, cost per cubic yard was $25.50. What's that?
Probably did 3,000.
I just have the bid proposal, I don't know the amount.
I would move to accept the bid from Hunter Excavation to provide services relating to winter sand, estimated cost, and to authorize the town administrator to execute any documents necessary for the hiring of the vendor.
Second.
And moving on to 10C.
Sand, what are these guys making?
It's all trucking.
I got it right here. So American Rock Salt came in at 174.6 a ton. You were happy with Appalachia? Alright. Anyone care to make a motion?
To provide services relating to winter salt, estimated to cost $1,167,760. Vendor.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. And 10D, review and approve Farrell second driveway access.
It's in the packet.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it did to Josh.
Well, it actually came up last meeting with Will, not triggering the DRB review for driveway access, because currently if you request a second driveway on a single, we may still be under those conditions, but I think that'll change if it hasn't already. So we should be able to just approve it, I think.
I mean, if I met with the guy, it made sense to see if
I think that's all that's
he
important.
Alright. Anyone care to make a motion?
Application number 2025-25, submitted by Farrell Home LLC for a secondary driveway access to their parcel located on the north side of Evergreen Lane, and authorize the chair to sign the permit.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is he creating a new driveway here?
I don't think it connects necessarily, does it? It's
No,
just a
we
second.
looked at it a hard time up and down the stairs. So this upper driveway will long go through the upper lower. Like I said, they use woodland, he's gonna clear the woodland, it's gonna make less tree damage for
Hartford dropped us on there too.
either me or Taylor. Please me, I don't know where it is. In the bottom.
I can just check the.
Ratify 6/16/2025 decision to approve neighborhood.
I should just put it back in there and I'll scan it.
Sorry.
Who signs the auditor one? It's got 3
I know,
places.
it's got 3,
I mean, you can all sign it.
we could just make
Just outline.
lines and
Yeah.
have it be
You need to sign both
There's
copies.
2 copies in there.
I move to ratify the June 16th, 2025 decision to approve
The neighborhood connections.
Yeah, Neighborhood Connections facilities use request for the use of Finger Park on July 18th, 2025, and authorize the town
And item B, review and approve long-term recovery. have no problem proving it. Me and James worked on it.
Long-term recovery plan.
Second.
We gotta sign that. Aye. Item 12, new business. 12A is approved cannabis license for Hidden Leaf. Yep.
You do.
Goes on to. Let me get cannabis license.
Any just for a motion?
I think we're ready for a motion.
I move to grant a local control license to cultivator operation on property located at 1317 Spring Hill Road, subject to compliance with and adherence to all town Londonderry ordinances. Authorize the chair to sign on behalf of the board.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm not sure.
Somebody pulled them over.
Probably.
Little enforcement.
The sheriff might have.
Penalties for being late.
No, I mean, if you get pulled over, I assume you get assessed.
I would move to for Hunter Excavation LLC, Beacon Sales Acquisition, Consolidated and permits on behalf of the town.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Executive session, appointment or employment or evaluation of a public, say 313A3. Sally Hespy, 6-month review.
3, the appointment
No,
it's
you're
more-
fine.
yeah.
Okay, give me 1 second.
I was just, if we need to,
It needs to be in the minutes or in the recording, that's kind of two different things.
I mean, it's in this recording.
It's in the
but
audio.
We could put it
They
in.
didn't say
Jumped mostly through that hoop.
I mean, it makes executive session a little bit more formal,
Yeah.
which I think is good, but. Yeah.
Unless this is the
We're gonna say item 14, so that's officially adjourned, yes.
We haven't.
We have not adjourned, we just came out of.
Just waiting for her. You good?
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, let's, someone
I
else
was
take
waiting
this
for
one.
the other Jim to do it.
Do we have a second?
Second.